Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Senior Vice President, Global Licensing Group, UBM, Jessica Blue, and President, Lima, Charles Rieto.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Global Licensing Group at UBM, welcome to Licensing Expo 2018. You just had sort of a sneak peek of what you might experience over the next few days. A Licensing Expo is sponsored by the International Licensing Industry Merchandisers Association. The Global Licensing Group team is proud to bring you Licensing Expo, Brand Licensing Europe, Licensing Expo China, Licensing Expo Japan, the NYC Summit, and License Global magazine. Over the next 3 days, you'll be doing business with some of the biggest names and emerging stars in licensing, as well as experiencing new trends from the entertainment, digital, fashion, and corporate brand spaces, to name a few. This is where you can find the right partners to take your business to the next level.
Licensing is a growing and dynamic business, and I'm happy to report that it continues to be a strong one. According to the latest results of Lima's Global Licensing Industry Survey, retail sales of licensed merchandise in 2017 grew to an estimated $271.6 billion, which is a 3.3% increase over the previous year. And royalty revenue grew 2.6% to $14.5 billion.
Global numbers for the licensing industry have been steadily increasing over the past several years, which is excellent news for all of us. And we're very excited to see what 2018 has in store.
As the official sponsor of Licensing Expo, Lima is proud to once again partner with UBM for licensing's largest global event, as well as produce Licensing University. This year's program features 23 seminars and 15 roundtable discussions, including some sessions being held right on the show floor. And it all kicks off now with the opening keynote session titled Great Expectations: Pace, Selection, Convenience, and the Customer.
The landscape of commerce and customer expectations is rapidly changing, and brands are increasingly looking to grow their businesses online. Nicholas Dennison, Vice President of Amazon, is here to kick off Licensing Expo with insights into how Amazon is capitalizing on e-commerce and reshaping their business to better anticipate customer appetite for unique content and larger selection.
We know you'll find today's keynote the perfect introduction to 3 days of education, networking, and good business at Licensing Expo.
Thank you all for coming, and have a successful show.
Now please welcome Mr. Nicholas Dennison.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, Charles. Good morning. I think everyone deserves a round of applause for being here. 8 a.m. Las Vegas. Did you know that Amazonians love swag? I don't mean we just like the stuff with Amazon printed on it. I mean we love swag. When I joined Amazon in 2006, one of the things I received on my first day of work was a bag full of swag. Over time, I learned that branded merchandise is one of the main reasons folks turn up to events within the company. I'm serious. People will turn up to completely unrelated events if there's a gap in their swag collection, especially something like an insulated coffee mug or a pin. Tenured Amazonians will even flaunt their early Amazon vintage swag. There's a closed Facebook page called Amazon Old School. Check this out. That's a real CD case next to the baseball cap. And for those of you in the back who can't see it, that's actually a Y2K sign on the vest. Amazon swag has been around since day one. However, the real reason I am here today is because you are customers or potential customers of Amazon. At Amazon, we obsess about our customers. We believe that by starting with the customer and working backwards, we better understand the customer's needs and are able to invent and reinvent on your behalf. In the next few minutes, I'd like to talk about 3 things. Share with you some of our secret sauce, what has made us successful, and how can you benefit from that. I also want to share with you what we've learned about branded merchandise and what makes it successful on Amazon. And finally, I want to share with you what we are working on to help you succeed online. But before I dive into this, let me give you some background on how we think at Amazon and start with a little bit of history. Did you know that Amazon started out in Seattle in the garage? Jeff Bezos borrowed his parents' life savings to start a books business. Why books? Well, Jeff is the sort of guy who notices the details, the little things. ISBN codes on the back of books. This meant that they're an item that could easily be cataloged and sold using this technology, this new technology called the internet. Today, most of us just see the headlines about how quickly Amazon is growing. But we have never lost that founder mindset. We have not forgotten what it means to be the little guy. That's why nearly 2 decades ago, Jeff created a marketplace for small businesses. He believed that if customers could find a broad selection of items with great prices and a customer experience they could trust, that Amazon could earn their loyalty. A loyalty that benefits all businesses on Amazon, particularly the small ones. As with most things new, you don't get it perfect the first time round. Marketplace went through multiple iterations. And to begin with, it was unpopular with some of our Amazon colleagues. They were astonished we would enable others to sell right next to us and even beat us on price. However, Jeff understood their concerns. He could see that it was the right thing to do for customers, welcoming in small businesses, entrepreneurs, and brand owners that we now call our sellers, made Amazon the place for customers to easily find what they need and want, no matter who sells it. That's because that's Amazon's mission, to be the Earth's most customer-centric company where people can find and discover anything they want to buy online. Turns out Jeff was right. Today, more than half the items sold on Amazon come from small and medium-sized businesses. Did you know that Amazon is a company that works on 14 leadership principles? And they aren't just pretty posters from HR either. We live them and use them as shorthand to communicate our ideas. And this is one of my favorite ones. Leaders start with the customer and work backwards. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. At Amazon, we work backwards from our customers. What does this mean? Why does it make sense? And how can it benefit you? When we have an idea, we start with the question, what will delight customers? We then work backwards from there. We do not have a build it and they will come mentality. Kindle is a great example of working backwards. We imagine how great it would be for a customer to have virtually any book anywhere in the world in less than 60 seconds. So that became our goal, and we worked backwards from there to make it a reality. Did you know that at Amazon, before a leader gets a single dollar of funding, they have to write a product's press release from the perspective of the future, explaining how this will delight customers? They have to answer questions like, what do you want to solve on behalf of the customer? How would you like them to react? That is then followed by some questions and answers that anticipate some of the hurdles that will need to be overcome to make this a reality. This visualization and working backwards approach does 3 things. It forces the team to get past the most difficult discussions early. It requires the team to articulate what the product's value proposition will be. And it drives clarity on the specific benefits to our customers. If the team cannot come up with a compelling press release, the product probably is not worth making. And if you don't understand the details of your business or your product, you will fail. So, what's the connection with brand licensing, you may ask? Well, this is the same approach that we used when we decided to create new opportunities in licensing. And by doing so, we've created new opportunities for our customers. And when I say customers, I do not only mean the buying customer, the consumer, but also licensors and sellers. In other words, you. Brand owners, licensees, small businesses. Our mission is to empower you to grow your business and reach new customers. Just a couple of weeks ago, we announced that we've exceeded 100 million paid Prime members globally. In 2017, we shipped more than 5 billion items with Prime worldwide. Amazon gives sellers access to more than 300 million customers in 189 countries. And we hit another pretty big milestone in 2017. In 2017, half of all units sold on Amazon worldwide were from small and medium-sized businesses. And did you know that we do not just enable the listing of those items? We provide brands and small businesses with the tools that you need to be successful. We also take care of fulfillment, returns, customer service. Customers can use their Prime membership for free fast shipping. In 2017, more than 140,000 small and medium-sized businesses achieved $100,000 or more on Amazon. That's up from 70,000 sellers in 2015. And we're still growing with you. According to an economic study we did last year, these brand owners and businesses created 900,000 jobs around the world. This morning, on your phone, each and every one of you could sign up and sell your products in 13 marketplaces that serve the world, reaching more than 300 million customers directly. However, despite this growth, it's still day one, and we operate with a founder's mindset. We have a collective muscle memory about what it's like to be an entrepreneur and wake up every morning thinking about how we can help businesses of all sizes be successful. But before I move on, I want to address one of the concerns we've heard from brands: IP infringement. This is something we take extremely seriously. Customer trust is hard to earn and easy to lose. All it takes is one inauthentic purchase to turn off a customer for life. That's why our first objective is prevention. We make significant investments in machine learning and automated systems that will block bad actors before they can list an item. We have built brand registry to provide access to powerful tools. These include proprietary text search, image search, predictive automation to suspend violations. Over 60,000 brands have enrolled in brand registry since we launched it last year. Given our proactive innovations, on average, brands in brand registry are finding and reporting 99% fewer suspected infringements compared with before the launch of brand registry. And while these tools may not be perfect, we have made great strides. As we learn about the industry challenges, we continue to improve to help protect your brand on Amazon. One of the benefits of being a brand owner on Amazon is that you get access to these tools through brand registry. I encourage each and every brand owner here, in case you have not already done so, to sign up for brand registry. But let's switch gears a little and talk about the evolving licensing industry. The good news is that this evolving world is not about threats. It's about opening up a world of opportunities for licensed products and brands. Let me begin with some macro trends we're seeing. Without wanting to state the obvious, more and more people are shopping online. Customers are increasingly growing accustomed shopping when and where they want. Desktops are yesterday, mobile is today, and tomorrow it may be voice shopping. Brands are also becoming more nimble and personalized. It used to take many years and many millions to build a brand. Those barriers are coming down. People are able to more easily and less expensively create distinctive brands. Customers are interacting with brands more through social media, expressing desires for new products. Back to the secret sauce. Through testing with brand owners, ranging from major consumer brands to social influencers, we've learned that what works for branded goods in physical retail doesn't necessarily work online. Today, the physical constraints of offline retail can restrict the types of brands and the number of branded products customers can purchase. E-commerce helps remove these constraints. We're finding the most successful brands online aren't always the ones you see on retail shelves. Part of what I love about Amazon is that we're revolutionizing how new brands and products get discovered. We're helping entrepreneurs, designers, and small businesses reach Amazon's 300 million customers. Licensors, licensees, retailers, and manufacturers can drive awareness and increase speed to market, while the customers can decide for themselves which brands and products they love. Shelf space is nearly limitless, and with print on demand and small batch manufacturing, every idea can be sold online. With social media, you no longer have to count on major activations, such as tentpole movies, to raise customer awareness and sell merchandise. What we found is that once your fans are aware of your products, they will search for them. Customer expectations and standards are higher than ever, and they expect to find many different options for something unique and special. So, don't limit your selection. As an example, where traditional retail may carry 2 or 3 t-shirt designs for a brand, Amazon customers expect over 100. Customers want something unique. Rick and Morty currently has hundreds of t-shirt designs live on Amazon. Over 84% of those designs sell, and 18% make up 80% of sales. And top sellers are designs that no one expected. The best-selling Rick and Morty t-shirt is based on a character who made a short cameo appearance in the first season. This shirt would have never appeared in retail. It's just too niche. A large selection allows you to identify what your customers really want and then iterate. Customers like choice, and they want to shop a large catalog. You'll never be able to guess what will resonate with your customers, which is why selection is so important. Based on what we've learned, based on what we've learned, we believe that the licensing industry can grow to $1 trillion in the next 10 years. Yes, 1 trillion. That's 4 times the current growth rate, 15% year over year. This is a really big number, but everyone here in this room is on the cusp of a huge revolution in customer behavior. We believe this is achievable, and we want to be part of helping make this happen. So, what will it take to hit this number? More brands, more licensees, more manufacturers, more designers, more selection, and all that with a much faster turnaround time. We need more testing and learning. Discard designs that don't sell, learn from those that do, and double down. Those who react quickly to trends and double down, they will reap the benefits. So, how do you do that? Here's a little bit more secret sauce. At Amazon, we have a pretty thick skin when it comes to failing. And that's because we think the moment you stop experimenting, you'll stop creating opportunities. Jeff Bezos doesn't think you can invent on behalf of the customer unless you're willing to think long term. That's because a lot of invention initially doesn't work. This is how Jeff put it. If you're going to invent, it means you're going to experiment. And if you're going to experiment, you're going to fail. And if you're going to fail, you have to think long term. After all, it's not an experiment if you know it's going to work. What's important is recognizing and correcting failing experiments quickly. If you're good at course correcting, the cost of being wrong may be a lot less costly than you think. And the good news is that experimentation is getting cheaper. Gathering data about what sells to inform your decision-making has never been so easy. At Amazon, we are working to develop tools and services to help you succeed in this new world. Through our working backwards approach, we've learned from brands that they want a central location for all of their products. So we created Amazon stores. Here you have the ability to create your brand's own online storefront. You can drive traffic and awareness to your own curated collection of products. You can use rich content, such as videos, text, and images, to promote your products and brand. You can tell your own story. In addition, to help with speed and selection, we launched Merch by Amazon 2.5 years ago to help solve for the challenge of this increasing selection. Merch offers print-on-demand fulfillment service that allows you to upload your designs and sell them on the world's largest e-commerce marketplace with no upfront investments or costs, often within an hour, and with the Prime shipping promise. Through merch.amazon.com, a vetted content creator, brand, or approved licensee can upload approved artwork, and as fast as an hour, that artwork is available for sale on Amazon as a t-shirt, hoodie, pop socket, or a cell phone case. all these products are Prime eligible. This is currently available in the US and international shipping coming soon. Since launch, Merch has become one of the largest print-on-demand t-shirt operations in the world. We print when orders come in, and we pay a royalty on each product sold, allowing you to explore and test new product ideas with your fans. One of my favorite quotes from Merch brand is, "The best supply chain is one that you do not need to manage." Brands have access to what colors, sizes, and designs are selling best, allowing you to figure out what products you want to offer in other sales channels. We hear from brands regularly that thanks to Merch, they are for the first time able to share certain performance data to back up their suggestions on a particular design or color. For example, we found that baby blue was one of the most popular men's t-shirt colors for a major action movie brand. Before they had this data, other channels would only carry black and gray. So to summarize, do not limit your selection. Experiment to learn what your fans like and double down. This will not only accelerate your growth, but will unlock more of the potential of your merchandising. But why stop here? Brands and licensees have told us they do not have the resources to design and produce the hundreds of products that their fans expect, especially not at the speed that customers now expect. Today, I'm excited to announce that Amazon is accepting brand applications for Merch Collab. Merch Collab is a new licensing program where brands can work with vetted designers and manufacturers to help create the world's largest selection of unique branded merchandise. So, how does Merch Collab work? On the portal, the brand owner establishes do's and don'ts and creative guidelines. Once their rules are posted, the brand will start to get product submissions from qualified designers. Through the workflow, a brand can ask for revisions, reject, or approve submissions in under 30 seconds. The brand has complete control over what goes live and can choose to take a live product down at any time. Once approved, the new designs will populate your Amazon store, and you can build awareness via your own channels. It allows you to see real-time data so you can analyze your sales trends and see what sells. Merch Collab was designed to make licensing as easy as one click, buy it now. An open marketplace that allows brands, entrepreneurs, and designers to find each other and collaborate. Products go live as soon as the brand approves them, and there are no distribution bottlenecks to pass through. We're opening up Merch Collab to a limited number of brands today, and we'll be accepting more invitations throughout the year as we work to get it right. But you've heard enough from me. I'd like to now bring on stage some of our partners that we've worked with over the past 6 months and hear what they have to say. And to help me do that, I'd like to hand over to my colleague, Ivan Lopez, Head of Strategic Account Management.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick.
Okay, thanks.
Good morning. I love what I get to do every day, don't we all? Not only do I get to collaborate with these amazing panelists who are about to bring out on stage, and many of you, but more importantly, my team and I, we get to delight customers, fans, every day through the power of the t-shirt. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our panelists and bring them out, starting with Veronica Hart, CBS. Warm welcome. Jared Doden, CEO of Hybrid.
Jared.
Pete Yoder, Vice President, Cartoon Network.
Fun.
Ali Behrman, United Talent Agency. And Shane Dawson.
Okay, knock him out.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Excellent. So let's start out. We're going to go through a few questions. We've been working all together for a few months now. Let's warm it up. Maybe Veronica, why did you decide to try working with Merch by Amazon?
For us on the CBS side, we have a very diverse and expansive universe of properties, mostly family, adult targeted, not quite as tentpole focused as a lot of brands in the marketplace. We do work on milestones and anniversaries, and we're always launching new content. So we look at different retail strategies for all the different brands we have, and every tier is extremely important to us. Physical retail, online retail. But the opportunity to work with Merch by Amazon gave us the tools to build out more of an expansive universe collection for brands like Star Trek, where you have over 50+ years of history, hundreds of characters that people resonate with, and not everything is available on the normal retail storefront. So it's a way to expand and then also move quickly.
Excellent. Thank you. Jared, what about yourself?
Well, I first want to know why Shane got a better picture than I did. I think it's the same sort of thing. I think when you look at the changing world as a manufacturer, disruption is imminent in the world, and change with the changing markets and worlds thing right now, it's a super exciting place. So as a manufacturer, we had tried e-com, burned through a lot of money through it, and when the marketplace sort of launched, it was this amazing sort of way to sort of, minimize inventory, really think about, sort of as a testing vehicle for new products, new categories. So it's sort of in its infancy stage, but I was always skeptical, but the results are super important and exciting for the data and things that we're getting to be able to utilize for things, for our brands.
Excellent. Thank you. Pete.
Well,
How's
first
your
of all,
network?
I feel as overdressed as I've ever felt on a panel in my entire life.
I've got a suit on too, so.
Clearly did not get the memo on that one. No, I think for us it was a great opportunity for us to be able to give a wider array of products to our audience and fans with all of the designs that we have, and I think Rick and Morty specifically, with all of the designs and the characters that are in that brand, and they really resonate differently with each fan. We're not able to provide as much as we'd like to traditional brick and mortar, so I think Merch by Amazon gave us the opportunity to offer a much wider array of product to our fan base.
Excellent. And Ali, of course, you and I, we work together with a number of content creators, and it's a little bit different for you, but perhaps your perspective?
Yeah, for us, from the point of view of where we stand, it goes without saying that there's so much disruption on the content side of the media business, and that it's just, there's a ton of democracy as it relates to being able to create content to then deliver directly to your audience without needing a third party in order to greenlight your project or say yes to this script or that episode. And so when you then look at the licensing side of the business, we wanted something that mirrored that, and Amazon really provided that offering. Proudly represent Shane, and this provided a massive marketplace, and to Nick's point, where there were no barriers anymore, and he could create product that went directly to his audience.
Shane, you are the brand. I mean, that's Shane the brand. It's you. It's very personal. How did it come about for you?
Yeah, I was excited about this specifically because I was afraid I'd have to find a suit, and then I realized I could just wear my merch
Nothing
shirt.
wrong with that.
It's a triggering experience for me. Big legs, we won't talk about it. But for me, I've been doing YouTube forever, I don't know, like 15, 12, something amount of years, and I've had so many failed merch experiences and companies kind of controlling everything and putting them in stores and not really letting me kind of pick what I really want and what I think my audience would think is funny, like a pig that says, "Oh my God," And it's so great that Amazon makes it so fast and easy, and I actually wear this shirt every day, and I don't even wash it. I just keep buying more.
Thanks for sharing. Let's jump into a little bit of speed to market. Pete.
Yeah.
So how would you say, working with us, how does it compare to working with some of your other distribution chains? as it relates to speed to market?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great in terms of, especially with the Merch by Amazon program, with you being able to kind of do the print on demand, it lets us do a lot more kind of time-sensitive products. So like when we have an episode that'll come out, we're able to work with you and get those designs to you. So that same day, we can have product out in the marketplace. And I think for our fan base, they really want to be able to kind of live that moment and be able to take advantage for either new scenes, new contents, new specials that we've got going out. So I think it's really provided us, a very rapid way of being able to get product in the hands of our fans as quickly as possible and be able to take advantage of, periods of time where, a traditional retailer might not be able to.
Jared, how about your perspective?
I just think it's all about agility and speed and being able to react to, sort of trends in real time. To mirror even what Nick said, is we live in a real-time world with social media the way that it is, the access to, content in multifaceted ways. The fact that you have a sort of a platform that you can literally, sort of be really quantifying, sort of trends in real time is, I think it's still in its infancy stage, should I say, but, being able to have that platform to be able to utilize and actually commoditize at the same time is, I think it's really exciting.
And Shane, of course, a lot of what you do, you see real time, and you really engage with your fans directly. Very passionate group, and I personally have seen it live. For you, how is that response, that ability to respond to that?
I mean, it's been great for me because, before when I was doing more of the traditional merch situation, it would take forever for approvals and picking the designs and blah, blah, blah. And now I make so many jokes in my videos like, oh, you should put that on a shirt. And now I actually can so quick and put it on the store, and it just feels more personal because it's so fast,
Shifting gears a little bit, Veronica, can you provide an example of where you've been able to respond to fans through this program?
Absolutely. We have a lot of different content now that's not just on CBS. We're selling shows to all different mediums, and one of them being Netflix. We had a show, American Vandal, that launched. That's a different model than what we were used to, when you know the launch date and you know the rollout plan, and sometimes you'll wait till season 2 before you build an expansive merch program because you want to make sure it resonates and who are the characters that really pop. So for us, the night that American Vandal dropped, we realized we had a hit on our hands, and we realized we had about a week of people really talking about it and binging it, and it was a little bit more eclectic in the humor than we're used to on the CBS side, so there was some edge to it. And we called and said, Funny or Die is our partner. We have these great merch ideas. Can we get something up and running? And within 2 days, we had designs up, and that was really just because that was our first deal. We had to get the business piece done, and then we had a full store within a week. So we were able to capture, in time while people were still talking about it and really feeling it, what were the designs that worked, how do we use that. Then we took some of the designs that worked that first week and brought them to other retail because we had some data there of what was resonating with people, and again, that whole kind of portfolio approach, and now we're better primed for season 2.
Awesome. Shane, what have you enjoyed most about the submissions process? You have many collab designers that are actually providing you designs, and you looked at that personally. What have you enjoyed most about that?
I love it because there's so many, fan-created shirts and things online that I've seen over the years. And I'm not the type of person to be like, stop selling that, because I don't really care. But then when I found out that I could actually reach out to those people and be like, hey, that's a cool thing. Let's not do it bootleg. Let's do it with Amazon, and you can get paid. It's been really cool because now, the guy that designed this shirt, who I've never met, who I really want to meet, is just this guy who probably was like, I don't know, here's a pig and here's some words. And it's the best-selling shirt. And, it's done really well for him and for me. And I don't know, it's cool. It's like more personal because I can actually connect with the artist rather than like, some company making them.
Yeah, and just to chime in on that, You know, when Shane goes, or, you know, any of our clients go on the road and they're, you know, promoting and marketing their book, or, you know, they're on tour or whatnot, you're seeing their fans and their audience show up in real life, and they're coming, like, for example, when Shane was on his last book tour, he's a New York Times bestselling author, and his second book, he was on a book tour two summers ago, and at every stop there was somebody, you know, everybody was coming to meet him in merch that they had self-created, just DIY at home. And there was one shirt that Shane was just so excited about, and so this is amazing. I wish I could sell this to my fans. Cut to today. Now he can.
Yeah, it's true. And then, Ali, maybe just as a follow-up to that, for your other clients, you worked with both Merch by Amazon, our sort of classic program, as well as the collab. How do you see that going forward for you and your clients?
You know, I think the collab side of the business just speaks to the ethos of the types of clients that I personally represent. So, you know, online content creators, YouTubers, et cetera, and that they're leaning into community and leaning into their audience and having a direct relationship with them. So I see the collab side of the business, you know, I'm really bullish on it. I really believe in it. On the Amazon side of the business, you know, the one, I guess, discrepancy that you would see from other third-party companies that would create merch for clients is that they've got, you know, in-house designers, but we've worked through those kinks, and Amazon has been an incredible partner in identifying ways to create art for our clients, because the difference is that, you know, our clients, it's not, they're not IP holders in terms of, it's not Marvel, it's not Disney coming to the table. It is actually the brand coming to the table. So their resources are a little bit more limited, but Amazon has been an incredible partner in terms of figuring out how we can work through that.
That's awesome. Pete, in terms of the collab project and things we've done, I believe you're announcing shortly.
Yeah.
What do you see as the greatest benefit to the industry?
I think, for us, you know, we kind of look at it as you're always trying to appeal to your fan base. And I think, you know, it's becoming more prevalent now in the industry that, you know, fans are taking a much more active role in their brands. So it's not just going out and buying merchandise anymore, but it's interpreting the way that they see their characters and their favorite brands, and then getting it onto merchandise. So I think collab for us has been an amazing opportunity to, you know, these artists that we're working with, they're also fans. So to see how they're interpreting the artwork and how they're interpreting our brands. And, you know, I think 90%, you know, every once in a while you'll get a Powerpuff Girl submission that makes it look like they're going to Electric Daisy Carnival, and we do have to kind of put the kibosh on that. But I think for the most part, you know, it's a really amazing opportunity to see how our fans are relating to our brands, also what their favorite characters are. Like, you know, on something like Rick and Morty, Nick had mentioned before, you know, our top selling shirt is from a character that was in season 1. Yeah. We would never know that if we weren't able to work with you guys and be able to see, like, hey, these are what fans are drawing, these are what fans are really resonating with, and getting that out on products. So I think it's a game changer for the industry, is 1, to have so many different designs, 2, from your fan base, and 3, really to see, you know, I think you have an expectation from the corporate standpoint as what the favorite character is, but your fans might be telling you something completely different.
Awesome. Veronica, I think you... Yeah. I see you nodding, so I'm feeling you want to chime in here.
Well, we can attest to the same thing. Again, we have some brands that have very expansive universes and a lot of nostalgic properties. And to be able, you know, we hear, especially on the Star Trek fans, we hear from them all the time, you know, whether we want to or not, about what it is that they like that we're doing. And they're usually a little bit louder about the things that they don't like that we're doing. So we have to make sure that we balance what makes sense in the marketplace. And again, a traditional retail environment, when you have a certain number of SKUs and you have a certain number of t-shirts, yeah, you're going to always have Kirk Spock, maybe Michael Burnham from Discovery, but you're not going to be able to have the full range of the aliens, the creatures, the things that resonate, excuse me, with the specific fans. And we do so many conventions and events, and we're talking to people all the time, and we're engaging on social media to find out who is it that you want to see. But to be able to turn that into a real-world program where we can look at data on the back end and say, you know, Sulu this week, like, this is a driver, there's more we should be doing, and it really does inform some of our style guide decisions and our creative. And there's a lot of operational things we have to do in the back end to match that expansion. It doesn't come without, work on every side of making sure that we're managing through and making sure the creative is at the level that we would like, but to be able to have more creative freedom and have fans feel like they're participating in the brand and they're not being talked at, they're being talked to, is a critical difference for us.
Yeah, and I think it was something that Nick sort of alluded to, is having those guardrails and ability to really manage what actually gets published and what goes live.
Yeah.
Jared, earlier we referenced the letter of the shareholders where Jeff Bezos talked about high standards. And as I've come to know you, you're someone with very, very high standards, I believe, and innovative, as well as the ever-rising customer expectations. So how has your brand experience, or you with multiple brands that you worked with, how have you experienced that and adjusted to meet the customer demand and those standards?
Well, I think, just speaking candidly into sort of the room, I travel the world, and you look at sort of our traditional, sort of retailers and partners around the world, and, at the end of the day, everyone's sort of looking for answers. And I think that the key things that I have, again, perspective is everything. For me, it's all about authentication, right? Part one. Part two is the fact that here you have this platform that that you guys are investing in, and really focusing on the critical pieces, which are quality. Okay, we had a huge forum yesterday just talking about quality. You've got the best machinery, in the market. You're thinking about slow build into really bringing the best quality to the marketplace versus just going with a bunch of stuff, because we all know the world doesn't need more stuff. All right, but at the end of the day, we all got into this business because fashion is entertainment, and sort of the products we make are the stars of the show. And I think for me, as I look at it, don't have all the answers, but it's a huge sort of opportunity to be able to, whether it's for the fan or by the fan or it's a collab, it's sort of this idea that you can create amazing products, you can create awareness, you really touch why we got into this business of amazingness, right? And when I think about it, it's completely in the beginning of where it goes right now, because at the end of the day, I truly believe could it be a platform for a B2B2C? Absolutely, right? Where that goes, I do not know, but there's services out there today. We researched, we beta tested a ton of different on-demand companies out there. I mean, there's a dime a dozen. And I think that it's going to be a slow build, but being able to have authentication with the brands that we work with, with the partners that we work with, this idea that you can create different looks, different feels, with the end in mind of always, touching that consumer, specific to whether it's a retailer or however it is this idea that speed and agility and authentication are everything, it's sort of in the new frontier.
Excellent. Shane, what have you learned about offering your fans a lot of choices?
Yeah, I mean, I was apprehensive about it because me personally, I really do wear the same thing every day. So I'm like, why would anybody want multiple things? Sounds like a lot of laundry. So I was nervous about it, but you guys were pushing me and said, come on, more, just try it. And you were right. And when I put out a bunch of designs and approved a bunch on the collab, I did see that most of them were selling, and it wasn't the ones I was expecting. And, I thought, why would anybody want my face on anything? A pig is so much better. But people were buying the face things. People were buying, I have, not on my phone, but my pop sockets with the Illuminati symbol on it. So many different types of things. So now I'm excited to really go in there and just, have a bunch of choices. I think right now I have 15 or something. So.
You've got a few more, but your fans love it. Veronica, you've got sort of, when we started this, we were initially talked about being a little smaller, but then we went really big at your initiative.
Yeah, we tend to, generally speaking, like to walk before we run. We're not used to this world where you just keep adding without taking away. So when we first launched, in particular on the Star Trek side, we launched a store, and again, with a lot of coaxing from Amazon, we kept getting more designs in. When we first started, we said, well, let's start with these. You know, we know these are more proven designs, and let's focus on the new content, being Star Trek Discovery. And then we added in more, and we added in all the seasons and all the different series and characters, and we realized that really the more we had, the more everything lifted. And it was interesting for us because the more choices people had, I think the more they perused the store. And because we also curated the store with other products as well, we saw a lift in the entire store business just by having more designs available everywhere. And again, having people feel as though there's freedom, which there is on print on demand, of being able to have your own style, your own color. You really do let people's individuality speak for themselves, and there's an appreciation for that. So applying that thinking has helped us in some of our other businesses as well.
Yeah, and I think maybe double-clicking on that a little bit, as Nick showed the store page before,
Yeah.
that's, of course, an entire Star Trek experience
Yes.
with many of your licensees and a variance of products. I think that's a pretty compelling.
Yeah, I mean, we feel as though we want to be selling everywhere our fans and consumers are, and there are a lot of different mediums, and we have our own online store as well, and we have other businesses. But when we were able to curate a full Amazon store where we could pull together unique products only available there, but tie it into things that we knew would be a great brand experience, because it isn't just selling product, it's building an environment where people will want to come back and keep seeing what's new and refreshing it constantly, so that there is always something new when people go back. And again, we learned that there's no need to take away, that it's adding to it, because even if one design is not going to be the strongest seller, if you're finding something that otherwise that consumer wouldn't have bought, and there's an opportunity to do it with less risk for us, there's a benefit there.
Awesome. Shifting and sort of segue to that, Pete, what did you learn about your #1 selling design, your top designs? What surprised you there?
I think, it's just, you all sit around in a room when you're planning your 5-year strategy and your 10-year strategy, and you just you're looking at, hey, this is the character that we think is going to be, or these are the characters that we think are going to be the strongest. And by getting this data back and getting this information, it not only helps you kind of understand a little bit more about the characters that are resonating with your fans, but, it helps us then inform, the show creators, hey, this is a character that's really resonating with the fans out there. It helps us, dictate what happens in the next style guide, what happens with, additional product lines. So I think it's really invaluable to us to be able to have that type of information in longer-term planning. And again, working with the Merch by Amazon team and now with Collab, I think it's also really helpful to be able to get that product quick to market. So there might be a character that we find out that's resonating really quickly, and in a traditional environment, you would then have to go have a style guide created, which would be 6 to 12 months, and then you get a traditional manufacturer on, which would be another 6 to 12 months. And then by that time, it's 2 years, and that character might not be resonating with fans anymore. So for us, it's really, it's really helped us open our eyes to how we plan our business going forward, and also how we're able to react a lot quicker to a trend that we might not have seen in the planning period.
Awesome. Ali, talking a little bit about discovery and building awareness across your clients, and Shane, I'll follow up with you specifically. What have you seen to be most effective, and how have you gone about doing that with your clients and motivating them to build this awareness?
It starts and stops with just one word, and that's Amazon. So, I mean, do you want to be offering a product on the largest marketplace in the world? And the simple answer is yes. It's not, I'd be lying if I said it was right for everybody and every one of my clients. It's not. Some clients want to do something a little bit more bespoke and just something different, not something so broad. But for those, like Shane, where their audience is so massive and what types of products that they want to buy, Amazon is really the perfect platform. And I also think, there's really something to be said about the clients that I work with coming from a platform that is so driven by search, and then offering products on a platform that is so driven by search. And I think it just goes without saying that those two complement each other incredibly well, and we're seeing it with Shane.
Shane, adding to that, I watched your merch video go live in real time, and I watched the tease, I saw all these things that you did. I mean, what would you say to this audience and other creators out there? How do you build that fan drive to come over and shop for this?
I was genuinely excited about it because, like she said, I use Amazon every day for everything. I could very easily go to the store, and I don't. And but one thing that's really cool, and I feel like if you want to also build up your other product sales, like it was something I didn't even think about until it happened. I built my storefront. I was so excited. I've never had that before. I made it look like a little store. And what I realized was putting the links to my books and my movies and music, which didn't last long. I realized when I launched the store, my book sales went up. And every other product I had on Amazon started to go up. People didn't even know. And the way that Amazon worked, and they were grouping things like, oh, you want a Shane shirt? What about his book? I didn't know he wrote a book. So if you're a YouTuber or a podcast or somebody who's just trying to, kind of create a hub for everything you've ever put out into the world you could sell, it's perfect.
Awesome. Jared, you've been working with us for a while, and you've collected a good amount of data in that process. How have you been able to utilize that data not only on Amazon, but off Amazon in other channels?
It's a good question. I think, like I said, to me, we have large clients globally in brick and mortar. And I think the biggest thing is a trend that I see is that everyone's extremely nervous to test, to find answers, whether it's different trend services that people are using today. And it's a reality that we live in. I think it's a really, really exciting time right now because when you sort of take this platform, data never lies. I like data. And sort of when you have an idea of a trend, 80s, 90s, whatever is sort of happening, the fact that you can beta test it in real time and say, hey, look here it is, it's working, it's a trend, this is where I think we need to sort of go, and we can solve a problem. Whether it's our brick and mortar partners or different sort of levers. Everyone is looking for trusted information that you can utilize and you can commoditize. And I think I've always been skeptical of, I've blown through millions, I won't lie about this one, millions of dollars trying to build. And in the new frontier, it's sort of, how do you connect the dots? How do you partner in different ways? And this was just, again, we're still in its infancy stage, so I'm not going to go Shamwowza here. I'm just going to say it's the initial sort of test that we're seeing and be able to take data that doesn't lie and really be able to curate that into some of our strategic partners and stuff. It really has become a solution. So it's still new, it's still fresh. I think it's, again, when I started with disruption is imminent, I didn't mean I hope nobody took that negatively. It's just a really exciting time to think bold and think different. And having a platform like this has enabled us to be able to say, here we go. And that's in real time. Because whether it's licensing or it's sort of trends that are happening sort of in the world, you just having this sort of outlet and being able to utilize it and quantify it, I think puts everyone at ease. So where it goes, I think it starts taking this amazing journey and amazing life of its own if you embrace the fact that it's a tool versus, sort of what's it taking away. Because that was always my personal own biggest fear. That's about it.
Okay. And Veronica, you've had a real-world situation with hashtag Free Dylan and that opportunity with that show. So what was that specific? Do you maybe want to double down on that a little bit specifically?
Yeah, no, on that example, we took this was an entity. It's new for us in the new environment of having shows where when they're streaming, you don't always have ratings you can share with people. You don't always have a lot of intel. You don't have a viewing history because it dropped, and we're talking about 24 hours later. But online, we saw enough trending topics and enough counterfeit immediately that we wanted to seize that, to stop that, and really have a legitimate business. And we were able to adapt using that information, finding out what shirt worked, and then bringing it to other retail. Because obviously all level of retail is exceptionally important to us, and we have different brands, and there isn't a one-size-fits-all strategy. Every brand's a little bit different. But in general, having more information that we can share when we don't necessarily have a movie release every 3 months that we can rally behind, or one huge tentpole constantly, using information helps us then in turn sell to all the other retailers and everybody else and say, there's this business out there, we can change it a little bit, we can refocus for what works categorically, but quality is king, and understanding what consumers want is the thing that we need to propel us to the next level.
Kind of a question to all of you. Working with Amazon and working with our brand protection team and making sure that what fans are getting is a legitimate product. Pete, maybe starting with you. What has your been experience with us, and maybe some misconceptions that you might address after working with us closely?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think it's a challenging time in the industry in terms of, it's amazing in the sense that you do have fans that are out there and they are so passionate about your brand that they are designing all of this stuff. But from an IP holder, it's really how do you make sure that you have some sort of controls on that, and make sure that you might see a design of a product that's amazing, but through some other channels, the quality of the product might not always be there, and it's not always just about how the product is represented from an aesthetic standpoint, but it's also the quality of the merchandise that can really affect the integrity of the brand itself. So I don't think it was a challenge of Amazon per se. I think it's just been a challenge of us when we first started getting into this decision of that we wanted to start allowing fans and artists to design their own artwork, not having such hard constraints on them and allow them to do it, so you don't have maybe necessarily the 100% control over what that item or that product looks like. But I think the benefit is in working with Amazon is that the quality of the product's going to be there, and being able to work with you guys and assess the designs itself, but also know that the quality of the merchandise is going to be there has been really fantastic, and has been kind of a weight off of our shoulders in terms of really looking at where there was a challenge in the marketplace, and a challenge certainly with our business, and turning it into a positive.
Awesome. Ali, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I think I touched on it a bit earlier, and I think it was just the misconception, at least on the client side, that, oh, we're going to sign up for this opportunity and they're going to send us, 100+ designs that we get to approve. And but like I said, Amazon's been fantastic in working through the process, in which working with IP holders directly, and working with creators directly, where you don't necessarily have the infrastructure that you otherwise would have at a Cartoon Network or a CBS. So yeah.
Excellent. I know we're getting close on time, and I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to hear this last piece from each of you. So I'll start with Veronica. We'll just work our way through. But what makes you most excited about the future of this industry? And maybe add to that piece of advice for this audience today, given that takeaway.
This is a very transformative time right now in our industry. Everybody obviously knows that. We talk about it all the time. We read about it all the time. The exciting part is finding where we fit in this new landscape and using the opportunity of what is happening in the market and this real-time impact for consumers, and the fact that in general, fans, consumers, they are more savvy than they've ever been before, and they expect more. You can't do what maybe we could have done 10, 20 years ago, we can't just put something out and expect that people are going to buy it. We have to, there's so much competition out there, even within our own licensed businesses, there's so much competition. We have to keep the quality the best it can be. We have to have an extended program. You have to have different strategies for every level of retail, so there is a point of difference for the different consumers. They're shopping in all these different environments, and but it's an exciting time to have that direct communication to consumers and use that, again, to propel things forward. But it's definitely a time of change right now, and just the expectation that fans have from us that they'll watch something and it's immediately available. Rising to that challenge is exciting and scary and challenging and all those things, but it's the fun part.
Awesome. Jared, I'm going to have to keep you to about 30 seconds.
Got it. What am I excited about? I'm giddy about the world because it's an amazing time right now, because content is more important than ever before, and a lot of the licensors out there, you own content. Capability is paramount to success. Great platform that we've been able to personally, on the other side, utilize. And how you tell the story, curate the story, on the different platforms, whether it's brick and mortar or your own e-com platforms or however it is, nobody ever said they didn't want a great story with an emotional attachment to it. And now, if you're big, bold, and sort of think differently and move fast, it's a really exciting time to, capture an audience.
Awesome. Pete?
There's three things, so I'm going to go 10 seconds each. I think choice is amazing now. I think that there's more choice in terms of content, how you get your content and where you get your content, and just the types of content that you have, as well as product. Working with a Merch by Amazon and having such a different selection and a wider selection that you've ever had before. I think the involvement that fans have in your brands is stronger today than ever before. Fans are more passionate. They're much more involved. You don't have passive fans at all. And I kind of forgot the third one, so we're just going to go with two and hand it off.
I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg in mirroring what we've seen on the content side of the business, and the disruption being, you can now create content that goes directly to your consumer. And now we're seeing it on the product side. And so I'm really excited about, basically what I'm referring to as a C2C model, creators offering products directly to their consumers. And then specifically on the Amazon side, super excited about the expansion of territories and geography that products will be available, and products just in general, wider selection of products.
It's good shit. I love my merch. If you see me out there, touch my shirt. It's softer than you'd ever imagine. I've worked with every print-on-demand company ever in the last 12 years of YouTube, and it's the best quality that there is, and I love it.
Ivan, quickly, I know we're out of time, but I'd like to personally thank you for being part of our working backwards process and helping create Merch Collab, so thank you.
With that said, warm thank you to all of you. It's been a pleasure working with you, and we'll welcome up Charles. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas and Ivan, and this outstanding panel for your insights on a topic that I'm sure is top of mind for everybody in this room. And I just get this sense that we're all mega pumped now to run out there and take on that $1 trillion licensing challenge that Nicholas mentioned. And the time couldn't be better because the world's greatest licensing expo is opening right about now up on the exhibit floor. So one last comment. The Lima International Licensing Awards tonight, 6 o'clock, right here in this room. You don't want to miss it. Have a great show, everybody.